Welcome to episode 4 of Podcast Americano. I am your host, Nate, and joining me today again, I have...
It's your boy Felix up in the motherfucking crib, tired as shit. I hate making movies. Hi guys.
We're all pretty tired people. We're artists after all. It's an exhausting career. And that's what kind of brings us into the topic of today's episode, and that's motivation. Because I think being an artist, more than most careers, can really take a toll on your mental and physical health, and finding the motivation for that every day, because it is a 24/7 job, that it could be pretty taxing, and for a lot of people starting out, it could be hard to get used to that lifestyle. I don't know if you're younger than me, so you might have a better younger mindset into this.
No, it's just as cynical as an old man's perspective. We're all gonna die one day. For motivation, I guess I don't think it really has to do with age. I think it's more of the type of person you are, because a person who is like the same age range as me are more likely to give up, but I don't give up that easily. I do, but like not to the extent where I don't fucking know what I'm saying. Anyway, okay, so motivation for a young artist, though, more young artists are likely to give up because they can't handle rejection, because that's the worst thing they could ever experience, and I think that is relatable to everyone else. And for, I guess, someone who's older, I have to guess, because I'm not old. I just look old, but you already have this. You already have life. You've already experienced that. You've already been through the roughage and the beat ups and the kicking of your asses of your art. Mm-hmm. So, well, I really don't know what I'm talking about. Motivation. No. I want to correct myself. Motivation. You motivate yourself because it's something you care about. Yeah. And I think it doesn't matter how old you are, if you're young, if you're old, if you haven't existed yet, it's your passion for it. And passion is the strongest thing that you can ever feel besides love. And you love your art too, so it's also a strong emotion. And sometimes people lack passion. Sometimes people don't really, they think that they want to make something, but then they realize in the long run it's not what they want. But motivation is all determined on someone's perseverance and passion for what they really, really want to make. It has to attach your interests, because if it's not something you really are entirely sure of doing, you're not going to find the motivation to do it. It has to be something that's cliche to say, but from your heart, and that applies to all artists, not even just filmmakers.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes along with the point I've made on a previous episode where I said, like, you want to finish what you start. And I've been thinking a lot about, like, what I said, and I kind of want to, like, give myself a correction. Is like, finish what you start, but only if you believe in it. And I think by that, I mean that if you're if you're like 10 pages into a script, for example, and you're just not into it, like, you think, like, at the point you are right now is that, like, you've done all that you can to explore your characters, then I would say, maybe abandon that, start over, and do something that you really want. Because I just finished my third semester at college, and I was in a screenwriting class, and a lot of that, what that class was about was not so like writing what you think that you wanted, but writing what you really wanted to write. And that kind of like took class into some like weird therapy session where he had to do all these like introspective journals into like what our like inner emotions were like, and we reflected that in our journals, and from that, like, that's where we got our screenplay from. So it takes a lot of like looking into yourself to find the story that you want to tell, and sometimes you might have to start over and rewrite it. You might have to scrap a couple of times, but just keep going. I think the most important thing is that you keep going and don't give up.
Yeah, and especially because in the world of art, it's a dog eat dog world. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to discourage you for many reasons, even if it's just for them to be an asshole. Um, we live in a place where people are gonna push you down and people are going to say, "Hey, I don't like your shit," either in a cynical way or in a in a much more stronger way of critiquing things. But
Hmm.
it's most of the time as an artist, you have to like. There's a lot of things you have to accept when you're an
Yes.
artist. Like, yes, I'm gonna be poor and I'm gonna be scrounging for money. Uh, yes, people are going to, no matter what I make, not everyone's gonna like it, and that kind of really fucks up people's motivation because if you're gonna assume like, oh, no one's gonna like what I'm making, then what's the point of being motivated at what you're working on? Like
Yes.
whenever I work on sets on my films, I can't think because I know that once I think, oh, who gives a shit about this? Then I lose all hope for it. I lose literally the passion I have for it. I have to
Yes.
think, no, people are gonna like this. People are gonna enjoy it, even if not the entire world is gonna like it. There is this film or this piece of art is for someone who will appreciate this,
Exactly.
whoever
Yeah.
that fucking person is. So I think that's very important to keep in mind, is that you don't automatically, fuck yourself over to like thinking that people are not gonna like your stuff. People won't. You just have to understand that, but don't think that not everyone, you know, not the entire world's gonna hate it. People will like your things because you will have a unique voice in what you're telling.
Yeah. At the like to kind of go along with that is you should create art that you would want to consume. Like make a movie that you would want to watch. I think like that's something that really demotivates people is they get like 10 pages into their screenplay or they're like halfway through filming there and they're realizing that they don't want to show up to work that day because they don't like what's going on. And that's just an important thing to keep in mind is that you want to tell the story that you want to tell. You don't want to tell a story that annoys you or aggravates you.
Or not even, just don't worry so much about what people think.
Exactly.
You can't let people's opinions in anything, not even just like for art, just anything. You don't let people's opinions form you or make you do different things or make you decide different things. You can't let people's thoughts and opinions, affect you in a way. It all has to come to your own brain and what you want. That's why great filmmakers, they don't care what people think. They make what they want to make. You think Kubrick gave a shit about what people thought about, what he wanted to make? He made it. He made it
Yeah.
his own way. Tarantino's a great example. He says himself that
Yeah.
he writes movies that he wants to watch. No one wants to fucking watch a grindhouse film where a stuntman guy kills a bunch of hot women, but he wants to because that's the type of film that he would want to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, make things that you want to make. Even if it's weird, even if it's hey, you know what? Even if it's weird, that's a good sign because
Yeah.
that leads to originality. So do that, but don't worry about, like I said before, don't worry about what people think.
Yeah.
That will discourage your motivation. Just worry about if what you're writing is what you like. And if you like it, then you're going to get that passion. And when you get that passion, you know, every day you're going to be thinking about it, working on it, and, you'll get motivated to do so.
Yeah. You think David Lynch cares about his fans?
David Lynch is like, about fuck, bro. Did you see the new Twin Peaks? He doesn't give a shit. And that's why I love him. That's why I love him. He doesn't care what people are gonna think of his work, because if it satisfies him, then that's the mission's done. If you're satisfied with your work, that's what it all comes down to, is that you're happy with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's also very important that independent filmmakers need to understand, is that you're gonna be like, everyone can like your work, but if you really don't like your work, then there's no point to it, At least,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
I think
Also,
that's a really like demotivating point that some people run into is that like they're so in deep into whatever project they're working on that they think that they can't turn back. Like for example with the Macbeth film that I won't show anybody,
fucking dickhead.
it was about like 3/4 of the way through that, I was starting to realize that this isn't the kind of movie that I wanted to make. And like, there's no real other person I could blame other than myself, because like I put so much of myself into that, and I just took that as a learning experience into my future. Like in this documentary that I'm working on, that I'm like super excited. It's so much fun. I've had to do so many interviews with the same people in so many different ways and in so many different styles, and I'm learning new things every time. And like I'm looking through all the footage every day, and I'm thinking like, what would I do differently? And I'm like continuously learning from myself. And I think that's the most important person you could learn from, is yourself. Like looking back on your back work, no matter how cringy, no matter how like bad your previous work is, like it's important to look back on it and realize what you did right and what you did wrong, and build from that.
Yes, as Yoda says, failure is the best teacher. You need to fail. You need to do not be afraid to fail, because if that will, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
It doesn't fear leads to the dark side, isn't that?
Yeah, if you're scared that no one's gonna like your work, it's gonna demotivate. Oh, that's not even a real word. I'm so sorry. That's not gonna motivate you, and when you don't get motivated, that leads to anger, and that leads to the dark side, and then you become a villain in a polarizing film that no one likes because of different creative choices. Assholes. But that's for a different time. Anyway, anyway, but yeah, like it's never risk. Don't be terrified to fail.
Yeah.
It's good to fail. Learn. Make that shitty film that you think it's great, because trust me, you're the only one that thinks it's good. When you make it, you realize it's bad, but then you learn from that. There are so many things I've learned from all the bad films that I've made, that now into my new film that I'm working on for Tribeca, this film by far is the best film I've made compared to all the films I've made. Like City Dude Blues is a film I always talk to, because like that's my Macbeth. I'm not showing people that. Well, not yet, at least. I have balls. I will show it. But I'm learning. I'm sorry, Nate. I didn't mean to attack
wow.
you. But
weren't we just like going on about not caring what other people think?
but
meanwhile, you're degrading me.
I'm just trying to be entertaining. But for City Dude Blues, there are things that I did that I thought were smart, but now I'm realizing were dumb choices. Like, I don't know, like I realized there were like a certain character that we put too much emphasis on just because we were. Oh, that's a great example. We were writing this one character in this film that my co-writer was so like, oh, we have to give this character more of a reason to care about them. We need to give them more, and I'm like, why are we putting so much character and background to this one side character? And he was like, well, because people are gonna attack us for doing this and that. And I'm like, I mean, I don't give a shit, but you might be right. So, but that was one mistake we made, was because we thought this one character that we wrote, people were gonna be like, oh, how come you didn't develop them further much? We need to care about these people. What the fuck? And then when I was cutting the film, I ended up cutting that character's this whole long scene that this character had. I cut it out because I'm like, it's stupid. Like, I can't believe we were fighting for so long about this character, like what we wanted to do with this person, but then we realized in the end, like, it's just it was just filler. It didn't drive the story at all. It was just because we were scared, Yeah. And don't let that happen. Just work on it.
Yeah, that's it's an important thing to not be afraid, not be scared, because I mean it is your work. And I mean, even if you're like part of a bigger team, like it's important to, have that communication between your team members, just to make sure everyone's comfortable and aware of what's going on.
I also have another thing that came to my mind that I want to bring up that also really kind of fucks up motivation. Work on one project at a time.
Yeah.
Do not give yourself 5 projects at once like myself, because I'm writing 3 new scripts, but besides the point, don't give yourself a lot of work, because if you give yourself a lot of work, I think that's the fastest way to lose motivation, is because like now you feel overwhelmed, like, oh, I
Yeah,
have to finish all these projects.
kind
Then
of
that
like that
overwhelms you.
creative overload where you're just throwing out so many ideas at once that suddenly like you're completely empty.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to plan things. Like, I already
Hmm.
have 3 films that I'm planning to shoot and release next year, but I'm taking them like one by one. So the one
Yeah,
of them, I'm not like I have 3 films. One is a little short black and white cute film. One's a fucking the most the most offensive film I'm probably gonna make. And then there's like the secret project, but I'm not jumping into all 3 of them at once. I'm focusing on the like the cutesy little black and white film that I want to make. I'm putting all my energy on that while I'm editing Lady Lobster,
yeah,
but take your time with these things
yeah.
because don't ever think that you have to finish these things. Like, just relax. Stress
Especially
leads to dismotivation.
especially when you're like this young in your career, you don't want to be like spending all your creativity on so many different projects. Like as I mentioned, as Wells mentioned on the previous episode, like you just have to pour your heart into a specific project, and like then you will truly find your voice and your role in like this whole story.
Yeah, you're gonna people are gonna find the place where they belong. But like if you're young and you're just starting out with filmmaking, like you have so much. Filmmaking really is like a slow burning process. You
Yes,
know, like
patience is a
I know we all want to win an Oscar at 27 at me, but like it's like take your time with these things. Take your
yeah,
time with your projects. They're gonna get done before you even know it. They will be finished. Before you know it, that film might even be a catalyst to you going to like a film program or going to a film school, and that's the film that gets you accepted to the college you want to go to, or this is the film that like, oh hey, some independent film wants to buy it and like help you out. Like, don't don't just rush things. Don't
yeah,
stress out over these things because that will crush you. It's all about relaxation. You gotta take these things with time, and you have to always reassure you that what you're making matters. Because if you do have that passion to make it, then nothing's stopping you. No one's gonna stop you because you're gonna make it, and like all that stuff's important.
yeah. Yes, exactly. So I think
Yes.
it's important for us to like kind of share what individually we do to keep ourselves motivated. And I want to start with you and kind of build off from there. But I don't know, do you have like a daily routine, or do you just have some kind of muse that just keeps you going, that reminds you that, oh, I have to do this. I want to do this. I
This is
love doing this.
This is the worst example I could ever give, but this is currently my motivation for Lady Lobster is to prove a certain group of people wrong.
Okay. That's a
Because
good reason. Proving
no,
people wrong, it's like it's more satisfactory than orgasms.
yeah,
Like
yeah, but
proving people wrong, it's the greatest satisfaction you could ever feel.
it is, but I don't want to encourage that like sort of attitude, like yeah, fuck people, but like when these people like are are so like because like for Lady Lobster, like these fucking dickheads try to control my film, try to put their 2 cents into this project as if it was their own film. I cut that shit out as soon as I can.
Yeah.
And the second I told them that they're fired, that they're not working on it, they're at first they're on board with it, but the fact that I told them, hey, you were dickheads on set and you treat my crew like shit, so fuck you, you're not in the film anymore. They were like, oh, you know what? Fuck your shitty film. Your film's not gonna get finished. No one's gonna like your dumbass film. You're worthless. You're not even talented. So all the hatred that they poured on me is now me being like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm making the best goddamn movie that I know I'm gonna make, and so far it's been working well. Like I just finished the rough cut of Lady Lobster that I presented at Tribeca, and the reception went really well. The vice president of Kodak was there for motion picture, and she loved it. She loved what she saw. There was a documentary filmmaker there too, and she's done a lot of work. And and the judges really loved Lady Lobster, and it's also funny that recently one of the people who try to sabotage my film saw the rough cut because he went to the building, and then they apologized like, "Hey, sorry for everything. Good luck on your film." So that's my motivation right now, is to
Yeah.
prove people wrong, but I don't want to encourage that. So what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
definitely.
in any project, it's I never want to make something like I'm just
In
gonna
in
pull out my
spite.
ass.
You don't want to
Yeah,
make things in spite of someone else.
yeah. I
Because
don't
in a
want.
way that's creating something because of other people, not because of um, the ideas you have necessarily.
Yeah, I really make things from my heart because I'm the type of person who thinks with their heart instead of their brain. So whenever I write something, it's more of a feeling than like, oh, this is something that will be interesting. It's like, no, I genuinely want to write this story because I feel like I have something to say, or I feel like I have something to really challenge people. It's either that I feel something important, or I feel like this will challenge people, I guess, is how I write films. Lady
Yeah.
Lobster is a film that I wrote from my heart through the things that I've experienced. Even though I'm a teenage boy, I don't really have much of life experience, but to me, these things were important. Um, so Lady Lobster came from, and then the next film that I'm writing, or like, I'm trying to challenge people. I'm trying to make people question different things, and I feel like it's important to challenge these people. So, you know, I write I create films that I know I'm already gonna be passionate about, because those are the type of films that I want to make. I don't ever want to pull something out of my ass and be like, yeah, it's fucking, let's make it. Like,
Yes.
no, you can't do that, because then, as you literally said, you're 10 pages in the script, and now you're like, oh, I don't even know who cares anymore, you know? So I always aim to make something that I know I'll be passionate about.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any daily, like, routine I have. I just know that, I just know that, like, the one that I want to make, that's it. Like, okay, I'm gonna focus all my attention on it. And I
Mm.
just finished the trailer for Lady Lobster because I'm motivated to do so, because this is something I really know, and I gotta tell people. So, like, yeah, like, I'm busting ass with this film. I'm trying to get this thing done so I can show people, so people can see what the hell I want to say. Because I
Yes.
think, yeah, I'm talking so much, but yeah,
No,
like,
I think that's very good. I mean, you say that like you don't have a daily routine, and it took me a while to really notice that I had a sort of daily routine to like inspire my motivation. And that came a lot from the classes I took, because a lot of the writing classes, not necessarily just screenwriting, but just creative writing in general. In that class, we learned to just journal every single day and to just write your thoughts down, whether it be a story, like a true event, a poem, just whatever. Like, write a full page front and back of just something, and just get your creative juices flowing from there. And I think another good thing for motivation, because I know for a lot of people, like, it's sometimes difficult for them to even like get out of bed, or to go to work, or to grab a camera, or to open a laptop. And something that I kind of attribute to that is to have a hobby that isn't necessarily artistically related, just something that you do every day that you could do no matter what. That like
jerking off.
it doesn't matter. I mean, jerking off is a completely viable option for some people. But I mean, for me and a lot of other people, it's working out. It's because it doesn't depend on your creative ability at all. It's just something you do every day, and it's a system that you are used to, and it kind of gets you motivated for the rest of the day. It puts blood into your brain, and that just keeps you alive.
I don't really know any other hobby I could give that trumps that, because working out it's the best way to motivate yourself to do something, because
Honestly,
it
yeah.
de-stresses you.
And I mean, the
you
new
know
year is coming up, so it's the perfect time to sign up for a gym membership.
Or you're like me and you're enjoying Fat Boy season like it's every day.
It's winter
Kanye
weight.
Kanye West is a fat boy now, so it's okay. We can all have some pudge, some cushion for the push, and it's all right.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's work out. That's definitely good because afterwards you feel good.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's not. It doesn't even have to be working out something as complicated like that. People find cooking very therapeutic. Um, I don't know. Doesn't even like need to be like heavy exercise. Just going for a walk. Um, I know it sounds cheesy, but sometimes you just have to get out of the house if you want to write. Like go to a coffee shop or go to the park if the weather's nice and just write there.
oh yeah, because how else are you gonna write?
Yeah, just
Like
get out of your
without
house. I think
how
that's
else how else are you gonna write about people and humans and characters? How are you gonna do anything without having a life? And
yeah.
that's not to say that like you can't. I know most of us filmmakers are hermits and fuck people. Like I get it, people are whack.
Yeah.
But it's you need I don't want to say go out and get a life loser, but you gotta go and interact. You gotta talk to people, communicate because we're all different, and you wanna bite off other people's perspectives so you can write characters based off those people. Because when we write characters, we're not just pulling these characters out of our asses. These are little aspects and characteristics that you've gathered from yourself and other people,
Exactly.
and that makes for interesting storytelling. So there you go. Like you have to. I think it's best to go out because that's how you create new things, and also read. Reading is really good.
Oh, reading is
reading
probably the most important part, especially if you're a writer. If you want to write screenplays, if you want to write movies, you for sure have to read screenplays.
Or you're like me, and you don't read, and you just do it all
Well,
just
sir,
a noggin.
you certainly read screenplays. Maybe not reputable screenplays, but you've read like screenplays from your peers, or maybe ones that have been assigned to you.
I read a review of The Matrix. That's the only thing I've ever read in my life. So.
Oh my god.
My writing.
Good enough. I've never seen The Matrix, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, don't.
Don't. So if you learned anything from this episode of Podcast Americano, don't watch The Matrix. Go outside and get a hobby.
It's my film professor's favorite movie, so
Uh,
I don't know why.
I don't think your film professor has seen many movies.
Well, I mean, he's got good taste, but like, I don't know why The Matrix is his favorite movie. If you're gonna go out and watch something, kids, you know exactly what I'm gonna fucking recommend, Nate. Go watch Ryan Johnson's Mona Lisa, his art.
The Fly, the episode of Breaking Bad.
Not The Fly, The Last Jedi. That is something. That's something.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. But it's
okay. My favorite part is all the nerds being pissed off. I think like that's the part that's just making me grin.
That's really awesome. I had a fight with one of my friends. Like it's been going on for all of this fucking week. Like, he's been at me about, what do you mean you love The Last Jedi? It ruined everything, man. It doesn't connect to the prequels.
All right.
Who cares?
All right.
Going off.
We're going off topic. I mean, everybody and their mom, literally everyone and their mom has seen Star Wars at this point. So it doesn't matter. If you wanted to see Star Wars, you already saw it. But you're not making Star Wars. You're making your own movie. And that's the most important part. And that's how I'd like to end it. Thank you, Felix, for coming on the show again. It's always great to have you. You're a great host.
Thank you. Hope your dad thinks the same way.
He'll warm up to you. I'm sure he will. Thank you all for listening to another episode. Be sure to subscribe to catch up with future episodes. You could also please follow all the links in the description below. I'll leave all the links to Felix and my social stuff. I'll also be streaming on Twitch every Friday and Saturday for the next few weeks. So if you like the video games, you could catch me on there. Also, some important news for the next 2 weeks, we'll be taking a winter solstice break. in honor of Saturnalia. Praise the gods.
It's Jesus' birthday. That's why we're taking a break. We're gonna go to Vegas with him for 2 weeks. We might come back. We might not. We'll see.
Yeah. So the next 2 weeks there will not be any new episodes, and in that time I'm gonna be working on my own independent projects as well as gathering new hosts and upgrading some of the recording equipment that I have to create a better listening experience for all you folks. So thank you all again for listening, and respect women.